This video is a remake of the first ever video on this channel where I spoke, which was about ghosting in Assassin's Creed. I wanted to remake the video since my audio was bad before. I mean, it's still bad, but it's a bit better now. And also because I have a lot more things to say about ghost stealth that I didn't really explore. Before we start, just a little disclaimer, this is sort of a philosophical dialogue rather than gameplay. I know that Assassin's Creed is a game and it needs to be fun with all the cool assassinations and executions. So yeah, let's start off with a query. Should assassins in Assassin's Creed ghost? Well, first let's define what ghosting or ghost stealth is. I'm gonna make this quick since most of the viewers in this channel are ghosting enthusiasts, or at least that is what I believe. But for the uninitiated, ghosting is a playstyle where you go through a level with self-imposed rules that include 1. Not being detected, meaning that you have to go through a level without ever being seen by guards or other enemies. Basically, you cannot trigger an alarm or cause any NPC to be alerted by your presence. 2. You cannot kill any enemy except for your target. This one is self-explanatory. It just means you have to pass through a level without harming anyone except your target. In some games, it is even possible to completely ghost them without killing even your targets. Some examples are in Dishonored and the Thief games. Most of the time, ghosting is done in stealth games since those are the games that have detection systems. But other games, like certain RPGs with stealth mechanics, might also have some missions where ghosting is viable. Now, there are also other roles in ghosting, such as not being able to use tools and even closing doors or windows that you have opened. However, these are more catered to pure and hardcore stealth games. In the context of Assassin's Creed, we can just focus on not being detected and killing targets only, especially since AC tends to lean on being an action-adventure game aside from stealth. So with that said, should an assassin follow these rules when they are on a mission? Well, from my understanding of the 3 tenets, yes, the assassin should be ghosting. Hear me out. The 3 tenets are 1. Stay your blade from the flesh of an innocent. 2. Hide in plain sight. And 3. Never compromise the Brotherhood. So what do these things mean? Well, let's talk first about the first tenet. Stay your blade from the flesh of an innocent. What this tenet means is that assassins should not harm civilians and other innocent individuals. They should aim to protect the innocents and make sure they are not in the crossfires of the conflict between assassins and the Templars. Now going back to one of the ghosting rules, which is you can only kill targets only, and this aligns in some sort of way. Put simply, when you try to ghost and not kill any targets, you can view it as you abiding by the first tenet. Because if you think about it, the guards who are patrolling the levels we play on are not all evil. Some of them are just people who happen to be guards under a unit that followed an order from a Templar, and they may not even be aware that there are such things as Templars and assassins. From their point of view, they are only following orders of some people in power and they want to get paid since they have to eat and pay bills, right? And yeah, I know, there are still asshole guards who can be cruel and some are aware of the Templars and assassins. But still, with the hundreds of guards they meet every day, how are the assassins to know which ones are innocent and which ones are not? And so in line with this, I present you with a quote from William Blackstone. Better that 10 guilty persons escape than that 1 innocent suffer. I think this quote fits perfectly here since it kind of is right, especially in the context of Assassin's Creed. Just imagine Arno infiltrating a level and killing every guard in his way. Now let's say he killed 10 guards on his way to his target. 7 of those deserved it, but the rest were innocents. They were just people working a 9-to-5 job trying to feed their families. But because Arno killed his way through the targets, thoughtless about the values of their lives, he has now committed a horrible act. Because you see, with those innocents dead, the people they were caring for will have to carry the consequences of Arno's actions. An orphan may have to find another home that would care for him and make sure he grows well. A sick old lady who was depending on his son to provide medicine and food will eventually lie dead due to hunger a week after Arno killed those guards. So imagine that, right? All those ruined lives because Arno killed a few guards during a mission. Now someone probably will be saying in the comments how unrealistic ghosting is and I'm thinking too much about NPCs in a video game. Well yeah, I am. Anyway, so to get back to the point, yeah, assassins should be trying their best to ghost to avoid killing innocent guards who have nothing to do with the assassin versus Templar thing. So instead of assassinating every guard, assassins may be better off just knocking them out. They could use slip darts or the old tap in the head if they really need to remove a guard from the field. And if you think about it, since assassins tend to just do sneak attacks, there is minimal added risk if they decide to opt with non-lethal tactics. Plus, isn't it a cool idea that an assassin can infiltrate a building without touching any guard, then assassinating their target without making any noise, and then getting out of the area as if nothing happened? It just gives a whole new meaning to working in the dark, right? Now let's talk about the second tenet, which is hide in plain sight. So while the first tenet relates directly to the rule of killing targets only, the second one can refer to the rule of not being detected. Now I think we can all agree that there's not much debate when we say that assassins need to be stealthy. I mean, being called assassins or hidden ones, it just comes with the branding, right? But to delve in this topic a bit, the second tenet refers to the assassin's ability to blend in a crowd, the thing we call social stealth. When ghosting through missions, social stealth can be a very useful tool, especially in games like Brotherhood, Revelations, and Black Flag, where we can hire faction groups that we can blend with. This allows an assassin to traverse areas without much risk of being caught. But while hiding in plain sight or social stealth acts as a tool, when we think about it, since it's a tenet, an assassin needs to be always hiding in plain sight. It's a principle rather than a suggestion. This means that they should not be walking about and grabbing the attention of passersby. They should always have the mindset that they cannot reveal themselves to anyone easily. They have to walk with caution and make sure that they are always hidden. Now, in early versions of AC, which is AC1 from Syndicate, social stealth was part of the games. They were one of the mechanics that separated Assassin's Creed from other stealth games. But in the RPGs, mainly Origins and Odyssey, the mechanic disappeared. Now we can say that lore-wise, it's because Bayek and Cassandra don't really care about hiding in plain sight. I mean, they would crouch and sneak, slither like vipers along the jungle floor. But they don't use camouflage. They don't disappear in the middle of a crowd and become one with a wave of people. And to be honest, this kind of makes sense. Cause the hidden ones didn't really exist then. Cassandra was like 400 years ahead of Bayek? And Bayek didn't create the hidden ones until later in his life. So these guys won't really use social stealth. For Eivor though, things became a bit different. Yes, she is a Viking and they love the noise and savageness of combat. However, she is also a smart fighter, smarter than most really, and so she values stealth and the advantages it brings. And so that is why I think social stealth kinda fits in Valhalla. But anyway, we're getting sidetracked. The point is, the second tenet commands the assassins to blend with the world. It doesn't tell them to kill in the darkness but to be invisible in front of the light. So now let's talk about the third tenet, never compromise the Brotherhood. Now this tenet refers to an assassin's loyalty to the Brotherhood. To never compromise the Brotherhood means to keep it secret and to not do anything that could harm the Order. So for example, in the beginning of Assassin's Creed 1 when Altair accidentally led the Templars to Masyaf Castle and caused the death of another assassin, that was him compromising the Brotherhood big time. And so how is this related to ghosting? Well, if you think about it, ghosting is an assassin doing a stealth mission perfectly. They will get in and out without any issue and complete their objectives without any alarms. So this means that there will be no one to chase after them since they have no idea that the assassin is in the area. I mean, if an assassin even used a long-lasting poison that kills their target maybe hours after exposure, no one could even suspect that it was murder. Maybe the guy just had a heart attack. What's more, the image of the assassin to the public will be more impressive. People will see them as a force of nature that cannot be seen and stopped. Ghosts that walk through cities invisible to the naked eye. They strike down the corrupt and do so without touching them. They hunt in silence, never seen, never heard. Now compare this to the image of lethal assassins, poets of the kill who use blood to paint the world red and bring forth vengeance against those who abuse the innocents. They are shadows, creatures that must be feared if you have wronged anyone. Now saying those out aloud, I guess it would come down to your preference. But my point is that if the assassins are known for killing whole battalions just to get to one target, isn't that horrible? It reeks of unprofessionalism and an indifference to the lives of the common people. In this case, the guards who happen to be stationed at a certain outpost. Just imagine, your city has been suffering from the abuse and corruption of a Templar agent. You have a friend who used to be a guard for a treasury house. They've been there for 10 years, long before the Templar agent came to the city. One day you hear that the assassins have killed a Templar agent and have liberated the city. You look for your friend to grab a drink and celebrate their newfound freedom. but he was nowhere to be found. You asked around and heard that during the attack, 15 guards were killed by the assassin on their way to the target. Your friend was one of them. The city was liberated, thousands of lives made better, but you've lost a friend, and others have lost someone too. And so isn't that so horrible? Isn't that such a compromise to the name and image of a brotherhood dedicated to protect the innocents? Especially when they have the ability to act as ghosts instead of dreadful creatures of the night. Well, if you ask me, it is. Because what use is a liberated world when you've lost everything to get it?